Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session where we are going to talk about how I4MS is contributing to boost the European manufacturing industry. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Maria Roca. I'm a senior project manager at FundingBox, and today I will be guiding you through this session. So to start presenting a little bit the scene and why we are here today, we decided to talk about the manufacturing industry, and you might wonder why we chose this topic. So let me give you some figures. Currently, there are more than 2 million manufacturing SMEs in Europe, generating 31 million jobs. So what does it mean? It means that the 59% of the manufacturing companies are SMEs. So we need to put efforts and resources in order to make that these SMEs can grow and become competitive in this global world. So what does I4MS stands for? I4MS is the ICT, the EU initiative to digitalize European manufacturing companies. And how they are going to do this. They want SMEs to benefit from digital opportunities and digital technologies. But if we think about digital technologies and digital opportunities, what does it come to your mind? So mainly you might think on this COVID outbreak, during which you were sitting at home and connecting with your family, your friends, and your coworkers using digital means. But for manufacturing SMEs, how they can benefit from digital technologies and what does it mean for them? So considering, for instance, artificial intelligence or additive manufacturing, so those technologies can really mean for a company that they decrease the waste that they produce. They also improve their processes, their products and services, and they can, of course, create more customized products for their customers. So it means more products, more services, making them more competitive and being able to generate revenue with these technologies. So today, as I said, I will be guiding you throughout Europe in order to discover the main experts and also the different projects that are supporting manufacturing SMEs. So our first speaker is Mayte Carracedo. She is I4MS project coordinator. She is business partner and business development manager at FundingBox. And FundingBox is an SME, an international SME that supports SMEs, entrepreneurs, and startups in their quest for funding. Also, they are specialized in connecting innovators by creating deep tech communities on AI, photonics, and manufacturing. So, Mayte, welcome. We were giving you the floor, and also, can you please let us know what is I4MS and what is the main goal of this initiative?
Okay, thank you, Maria. First of all, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pity I cannot be there with you today, but I will try to use this slot for explaining you about this interesting initiative. So I4MS is the European initiative to digitalize the manufacturing industry. We are now on the phase 4 of I4MS, and maybe it's worth to say that at I4MS we have 35 million euros for manufacturing SMEs that will be distributed during the next 3 or 4 years. One of our main assets is the funding that we put at the service of manufacturing companies for them to test, for them to experiment with digital technologies. And I think this is one of our main hooks for attracting companies to our initiative. Of course, I4MS is not all about funding for testing, but it's true that, this is a very good way for those companies to start using these digital solutions, and in a very easy way, because the kind of open calls that we are launching that are called financial support to third parties are very easy for them to apply. The type of contracts that they sign are not with the European Commission, but with the project coordinators or one of the partners. And all in all, it makes it more easy for manufacturing companies to start having the flavor of what it's a European project, and to start entering in contact with these competence centers at European level that are really having the knowledge on these technologies.
So, Mayte, you mentioned that you are giving funding to SMEs to test different technologies, but what are the technologies that are covered in I4MS?
Yes, currently I4MS is focused on four main technologies that the Commission has found as the key ones for manufacturing, right? For manufacturing to become digital. Those technologies are artificial intelligence, additive manufacturing, digital twins, and human-robot interaction. We have 8 European initiatives, okay, that are led by research organizations at European level that are covering those 4 technologies within their projects in I4MS. And on our case, Maria, Roca, you are there, and myself, we are working on the project that is coordinating the connection among all these initiatives and making the connection also with the companies at European level.
So from one side, I4MS is trying to support SMEs via using the funds, but I guess there are other also challenges that you are trying to overcome, right?
Yes, indeed, indeed. There are several challenges that we have been observing during the last years managing this type of coordination and support action, okay? And, by covering them, we are trying to have a better understanding of, what these manufacturing companies are looking for and how we can help them.
Okay. So, Mayte, then let's get started with the challenge that you are trying to cope with in I4MS. What would
Okay,
be the first challenge you think you are trying to deal with?
yeah, I will try to summarize them because we were analyzing them before this phase 4 of I4MS. And maybe I will start with the main one, the most important for us, right? And this is what we call the penetration gap. And the thing is that despite this I4MS initiative has been in the market and running since 2012, there are still a big part of regions in Europe that are not covered by I4MS funding opportunities or digital solutions. And this is what we are really trying to overcome during this fourth phase of our initiative. So just to give you some figures, right? So there are in Europe currently 2025 digital innovation hubs that are working with one of those 4 technologies that I was mentioning before. However, just 30% of them are connected with I4MS. So I think we are doing maybe something wrong because they don't even know us. So in this phase, we are trying to tackle them, okay, and to go to less represented regions in this initiative. This is one of our main challenges for us in this period.
So, Mayte, you mentioned digital innovation hubs, but maybe for the people in the audience that are not familiar with the concept, could you please elaborate a bit more who they are, where they be found, and what is the role expected for them?
Sure. Digital innovation hubs are one of the main initiatives of the European Commission within their strategy for digitalize the European economy. This strategy was launched in 2016, okay? And a digital innovation hub, we can define this as a one-stop shop that is there for supporting companies, mostly SMEs and mid-caps, in their digitization process, okay? It's also addressed to public sector, but maybe for this Congress today, we should more focus on its goal on the SMEs, right? So the idea is that there's always at the center of a digital innovation hub, a competence center, a place, where there's a really good knowledge on one of these digital technologies. And this competence center is offering the companies a place where they can test before invest. But around that, okay, there are other type of support and services that are really needed for that company to adopt that digital transformation. We are talking here about skills, we are talking about access to funding, access to ecosystem. So all these services are offered to the companies under just one stop shop and one easy way for them to start using these technologies.
Okay, so summarizing the second idea, then the main goal also of I4MS is to reach to those regions where still SMEs cannot get access to digital technologies and make sure that the digital innovation hubs and other intermediary bodies can support them and give them access to the technologies, right?
Indeed, Maria. And we also realized that maybe at the beginning we were very optimistic trying to reach manufacturing companies directly, right? And that this is very difficult to attract them from a European project and that European perspective. So for us, this type of intermediary bodies, which purpose is the digital transformation of SMEs and mid-caps, are really the good connectors. This is why digital innovation hubs are one of our target groups, but also other intermediary bodies working on this field, right? We are mentioning here chambers of commerce, research and technology organizations. So in I4MS, we are always in connection with all these type of bodies and structures all around Europe. Right now, we have agreements with almost 70 organizations, and we are increasing this connection because, as I was mentioning, right, they are really our key middlemen between the companies and I4MS resources.
Yeah, and for sure also for SMEs it's easier for sure not to get in contact with the persons that they have been working for many years and that they can inform about the I4MS opportunities and others. Okay, it's very interesting. Yeah.
Indeed, Maria, and if I may, no, also the language is a barrier, right? We work all in English, right? And for these manufacturing companies, even the language is one of the main barriers. Of course, there are others that I can mention now, but just this simple one is going to help them a lot, right? So if the intermediary body really is aware and masters what is I4MS about and which are the opportunities, that's perfectly fine for us, right? They can do and they can spread the word about us, but in the local language. So yes, this is very important also.
Okay, so another challenge that maybe you can tell me if this is true. I was mentioning in my introduction that there are 31 million jobs generated by the manufacturing SMEs, so I guess also the workforce is kind of experimenting some challenge.
Yes, indeed. You know, another one of the challenges we are seeing is what we call the skills gap. Okay, so one of the obstacles for a company to go digital is the lack of knowledge of their workforce. And we were always tackling this challenge at I4MS. Even in the previous years, we were launching an observatory, and you can find it in I4MS.com webpage, where we are scouting what is the offer at European level for manufacturing companies in terms of digital transformation. We were very focused there, but also right now we are also trying to understand, okay, what is covered, what is not covered, right, and trying to analyze also where are the needs. So I'm not going to elaborate too much on skills because I know my colleague Jordi will be talking about this, but this is really one topic that is also concerning us. And maybe Maria, as I was mentioning challenges, okay, another one that is very interesting and we are trying to cover is the awareness gap, okay? Because maybe from initiatives like I4MS that are supported by the Commission, but also some others at national level, you can see that these initiatives are very technology push. So we are counting on the willingness from the companies to adopt the technology, and then we always have like the perfect solution for them. But at the end of the day, what we see is that there's a lot of lack of awareness. So we are also working on that part, right? So we really need to show to the companies, okay, that this might not be as expensive as they think, which is also something, you know, some information they are always sharing with us. And also, we need to show them how these digital solutions will affect their revenues, will have really important impacts in their business operations, right? And we are trying to showcase this, okay, with real examples, real use cases. I know that my colleague Marta there is going to show some of these examples later on, and this is the type of use cases we are also using, okay, to raise this awareness among companies. Because as I was mentioning, right, we are always very technology pushed, and we really need to work more on the demand, okay, on the sensitization of our customers, okay, for them to really have that willingness to adopt digital solutions.
Yeah, you are right. Sometimes we are talking about the technology, how the technology can be managed, how can be used, but what is the reality in their business operation? What will that mean for them? No, showing them how this technology can impact in a specific process or specific service. So for them to have a clear vision on what this investment will also mean for them. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's it.
Yeah.
And well, maybe also, as you were mentioning investment, that is another word that takes me maybe to our last challenge, right? And it's the investment gap, okay? So as I was mentioning at the beginning, I4MS is offering funding for these manufacturing companies to test our digital solutions. But it's true that the funding that we can offer is just for them to test. We say test before invest, right? The amounts that we are given are not bad, okay? We are always given money for the value of between 50,000 and 250,000 for the companies to run this application experiment. But it's true that, we are not able to cover the full deployment, okay, in the manufacturing company of that digital solution. So we see a gap there, right? We can just cover the beginning of this journey, okay? And from the case of manufacturing companies, this situation is even more complex because there's no one solution that fits all manufacturing companies. So what we are trying to find out here is how, by connecting with the regions or by connecting with other European initiatives or even with banks and some other funding institutions, okay, we can help companies in finding a solution for that really investment gap after the test before invest. Okay, so we are aware of this need, and we are also trying to solve this, identifying solutions and other funding opportunities or different ways for them to finance this full deployment of the digital solution.
Yeah, it's true that perhaps SMEs are used to, go to the banks and ask for a loan in order for them to, develop some projects. But it's true that since digital transformation is a long-term journey, it might require more planning and maybe also analyzing what are the other opportunities that you mentioned, maybe from public banks or European investment banks are there. Okay, so
Yeah.
Mayte, if we want to know more about the initiative, if we want to find these success stories that you were mentioning, is there any way we can connect?
Yes, indeed. Of course, we have our I4MS webpage where you can consult and see the summary of all this information. But also there we try to go a step forward, and we have created an online community that is today one of the biggest communities for smart manufacturing in Europe, I4MS community. There we are gathering 1,500 members, okay, that come to us, they join I4MS community, and they can find information about which are the funding opportunities for smart manufacturing, not just from I4MS, but also from other initiatives that are currently working at European level. They can find the success stories in order to be inspired. They can find events of interest, most of them running online, and especially what is very important, the possibility to connect with the experts, okay? Experts that are coming from the innovation actions or those projects I was mentioning before, experts on AI, on additive manufacturing, and so on, but also connecting with other companies and other players that are working on this and are trying to find their way in this very complex European ecosystem. So by joining I4MS community, all these options are inaccessible for any stakeholder or any audience that is there today in Barcelona.
Okay, so Mayte, before you leave, I just came up with a question that I have prepared also for Jordi, but what about this COVID situation? Did this affect manufacturing SME, or are they more now interested in the opportunities you offer? What is the feeling about it?
Yeah, indeed. We felt that, okay? We felt that in general at FundingBox, okay? We are working on I4MS and smart manufacturing, but FundingBox is one of the biggest deep tech communities right now in Europe. And we are offering innovators in Europe access to funding and access to tech communities. And what we have seen is that on that access to funding, we have more interest from the companies in general and from the manufacturing companies specifically, because we all realize, right, that digital is the only way at this stage for us to be connected, or in these COVID times, the most important way. So now is when they needed really these funding options and these type of solutions like I4MS for them to start becoming more digital. Also, what we have known from the companies we are working with is that the managing positions, which are sometimes, the most difficult ones for taking decisions on their company to be more digital, are more sensitized, on this need for being digital. So if you put both things together, they are more aware about the need, and there are funding opportunities. On our case in I4MS, we have seen more applicants, more experiments running, and this might be maybe the main consequence in this place. Of course, there were some others, but this is the most relevant, right? More interest on funding opportunities for digital transformation in general, yes.
Okay. So thank you very much, Mayte, for being with us today. And now, before giving the floor to our next speaker, just let me summarize a little bit what Mayte have said. What are the opportunities that I4MS offers? That are, from one side, we have the funding that we will be presenting at the end of the session today, where all the different projects will present what is the offer they have. Also, she has mentioned about the network of I4MS contact points and the digital innovation hubs in order to be able to cover all European territories and making sure that we can reach the SMEs regardless of their location. Also about the workshops and events in order to raise awareness, to really show what are the benefits of digital technologies, instead of talking generally about the technologies, showing them real examples. Also, the investment and funding available, that I4MS is exploring other sources of funding and how do they fit in the digital transformation journey. And of course, to keep updated, to become part of the community. And there's another gap that she mentioned. There is a skill gap, and that's why I want to invite Jordi to the stage. So if we should not forget that the digital transformation is steered by humans, is steered by persons. So it's very important that we give them the tools and the resources to make sure that they are able to control the technologies if we want these technologies really to become part of our daily operations. So Jordi, welcome. Jordi is manager of Digital Talent Barcelona. He has been working in I4MS since 2017, so he has a lot of knowledge about what I4MS can bring in the area of skills and upskilling, and that's why I have prepared some questions for him that for sure he will know the answer.
Hopefully, thank you for inviting.
So I was doing the same question to Mayte, but how does this COVID situation affected the work of the manufacturing sector?
Yeah, actually, beyond what Mayte already said about the awareness of CEOs and executives in companies, that now they are more aware than ever about the need of digitization to be more competitive, they also suffered a lot about also supply chain scarcity of certain materials like raw materials, like chips also in technology, and so on and so on. But on the other hand, they had to invest in technology more than ever, more than they actually planned at the beginning of the year, in order to solve this gap of the physical, presence in the manufacturing facility. Yeah. So, for instance, according to data, they had to invest more in technologies in the cloud, in telecommunications, in cybersecurity, because since I am more digital, I have to invest also in being more secure, and so on and so on. On the other hand, actually, I believe that there is a certain consensus in within the economists community, saying that we are facing a K-shaped recovery. So at the beginning of the pandemic, everyone thought that there would be like a V recovery, right? So at the beginning we will fall, the economy will fall, and then we will recover very, very fast, according to the waves of the pandemic. But now we are speaking about a K-shape. So there are two kinds of recoveries. Companies that they belong to the IT ecosystem or the IT industry, and they are actually stronger now than before the pandemics, or companies that even though they don't belong to the IT industry, but they are becoming tech firms. I give you an example. For instance, Hyundai is a manufacturing company, not an SME, of course, right? But it's a good example because their stock price in the stock market actually multiplied by 2 or 3 times at the end of 2020. Why was that? Because they invested in Boston Dynamics, which is actually they acquired Boston Dynamics, which is a robotics company. So the market understands that this is a manufacturing company that wants to become a tech firm. So they become way more scalable, they will become way more digital. So I believe that most of the SMEs, as Mayte already mentioned, are more aware than ever that they have to invest in technology in order, first of all, they had to do it in order to survive, but also to be way more competitive.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe this pandemic has shown it the real need, the urge to do this. No, instead of just thinking about when is the right timing, they just took the decision.
They had to
of
do
doing
it, yes.
Yeah. So, and how is this digital transformation being managed by SMEs? When an SME takes the decision of going digital, how do they start?
Our experience, our feeling after, as you mentioned, many years working with SMEs through I4MS, our experience is that there are, I would say, 3 types of levels of digitization according to the approach of the company through digitization. For instance, there are companies that they believe that they are transforming when actually what they are doing is to apply a layer of digital technology in their current operations. For instance, they start selling online, or they implement a CRM or ERP, which actually is not transforming, but is making more efficient their current operations. There are other companies that I would say they are in the next step, implementing advanced technologies, like the ones that Mayte was mentioning, right? Like artificial intelligence, digital twins, in order to foresee what's going on, in order to prevent also, in order to do a predictive maintenance of my factory, for instance. Also additive manufacturing, cloud computing, and high performance computing, and so on and so on. And this is the next level, and actually puts the basis for real transformation. But usually SMEs are rather in the first level, right? In basic digitization, there are few SMEs that are moving through this advanced, actually, technology implementation that brings them a competitive advantage because you are way more efficient, but you put the basis for transformation. So we're seeing companies that are going through the servitization approach. So they are manufacturing companies that are implementing a high density of a digital layer in their products, like for instance sensors and so on and so on, so they can serve or supply services out of it. And this, I would say, is the third level, right? When you transform your business model, leaning on those digital technologies.
And how do you think SMEs are doing in terms of reskilling their workforce? Would you give them a 10? Or?
No, I don't think so, because as I mentioned before, most of the companies, most of the SMEs are still in the first level of digitization. Most of them. Of course, there are good exceptions, right? And when you're just implementing a CRM, an ERP, and e-commerce, you don't actually need ICT skills within. You need people that actually is able to use those technologies, but you don't need hard ICT skills. When you go through the next level, like the I4MS technologies that we're working, for a long time, then you need people who is able to work with, physical and robotic systems, who is able to, for instance, program an AGV, who is able to understand a digital twin, who is able to plan their supply thanks to the information that you gather from your digital twin, then you need to reskill your workforce. But this is, I would say, the second stage. First of all, you need an executive in the SMEs that understands the vision, implements the technology, implements advanced technologies, and then you will need new skills. And then it's when, I would say, reskilling is needed. So rather than a 10, I would say, 5 maybe, right?
Okay.
But the good thing is that in I4MS we have solutions for them.
Yeah. So maybe can you elaborate a little bit more on the solutions that I4MS is trying to offer?
Yeah, actually, as Mayte were mentioning, sometimes SMEs are reluctant to invest in technologies such as advanced manufacturing technologies because it's expensive and because they never explored this field before and they don't want to take risk. Usually SMEs, they don't want to take risk. That's why I4MS is bridging the gap because they invest part of the pilot test so you can test if it's actually worth it for your company and then you can go ahead. Once you go ahead, as I mentioned, you would need new skills in your company. Probably you will have to reskill your workforce. Maybe you have to hire someone, but probably you have to reskill your workforce because the need of skills of your company will change. And maybe blue collars will become white collars. So people who is in the manufacturing, in the factory line, will become people managing an AGV, for instance, or a digital twin. Then what do we have for them? We have, I would say, two kinds of solutions. One is a training catalog in which we have, let's say, a catalog of all the Industry 4.0 training all around Europe, supplied by training companies, but also by DHS, so the digital hubs. And also, in I4MS, we have a front desk in order to help them, in order to accompany them in approaching the reskilling in their companies. Because approaching reskilling, it means certain methodology. For instance, you have to do an assessment of to what extent your workforce is already digital or not, what is the path in order to go through this reskilling, and we can help them with that. So before going to the training, how to approach reskilling in your company.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jordi. I think you gave us a lot of information on how SMEs are tackling or overcoming this digital challenge, and especially related to skill. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maria.
So let's move to our next speaker, who is Begonia Sanchez from Tecnalia. She's Business Development Manager at Point, which is the policy part of Tecnalia that is dealing more on innovation policies. So Begonia, thank you for being here today. So from Tecnalia's perspective, what is the state of the art of the digitalization among European SMEs?
Thank you, Maria. This is a very good question indeed. I mean, you know that most of companies in the European Union are SMEs. And then, I mean, they are mainly lacking digitalization. I mean, they need to improve a lot because we have data that are telling us that only 25% of companies, of SMEs, are highly digitalized, while we have big companies. I mean, about 62% of the companies are highly digitalized. But also we have a challenge regarding the sectors. I mean, while computing or ICT related companies are much more digitalized, I mean, we faced companies like from construction sector, which are almost not digitalized. So the same goes also from countries. I mean, the most digitalized companies we find in Denmark, while, for instance, in Greek, I mean, there are much less digitalized. So there is really a huge challenge, and we need to devote in actions that might or can help companies to improve the digitalization paths. I mean, you know that companies will need to increase digitalization internally. Why? Because they can have a lot of improvements, obviously gain in better competitiveness in general terms, but also better internal process, better approach to their clients, better way of doing things. I mean, and better business processes. I think there are several ways, I mean, in which they can improve. Well, as I said, I mean, digital transformation is really a challenge, and then, I mean, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises. I mean, they normally, in many cases, they don't know where to go. They lack resources also to get into the path of digital transformation. So a way of supporting these companies improving their digitalization are obviously the digital innovation hubs and the candidate European digital innovation hubs. And why? Because they are very close to them, because these hubs are there to support them in the digital transformation, and because the hubs are already a quite a structured ecosystem in which we have in the center of it the technology centers as ours as Tecnalia, in which we have expertise that can support the company in many of their business daily challenges, as well as with more specific work regarding technologies, in the sense that we have premises, we have labs, we have the infrastructure they need to keep on testing their products and supporting them also in making them closer to market. And on top of this, I mean, we think also that it is very important also to make more awareness on European projects such as I4MS, which is an umbrella project in which we already offer a lot of products, a lot of ideas for companies, like best practices from success stories, where companies can get inspired and follow it, and follow the paths that other companies have been already implementing.
Okay. Thank you, Begonia. So I think there are like three main ideas that Mayte, Jordi, and Begonia were mentioning. That is the digital innovation hubs as one of the pillars to really get to the SMEs and explain what are the advantages of technologies. Also, the uneven the transformation index or level from companies from different sectors. And the last one, that we need to provide real examples to SMEs to really show the benefits. So in order also to give you a flavor of what I4MS can do, we have prepared some examples for you. So yeah,
One example of the I4MS benefits is Cloud SME, showcasing a low-cost, cloud-based process. This simulation technology allows beer brewers to identify which casks should be delivered to maximize the quality of beer and minimize spoilage. Another success case that illustrates I4MS's ability to foster innovation is Compasses. Endorsed by Fortissimo 2, they reduced by factor 45 the computational time needed for assessing seakeeping of vessels, making supercomputing solutions more affordable and accessible. This way, I4MS helps the EU SMEs in seizing the European digital transformation opportunities for a widespread improvement for the citizens of the EU. For more information, join the I4MS community and stay tuned to hear about all the opportunities that I4MS can offer you.
So as Mayte was mentioning at the beginning, there is 35 million that will be distributed among different open calls. You have seen here the results of SMEs that applied in the past, and they succeed using this pilot testing within I4MS. So now I will be introducing the different projects in order to explain what is the offer and how you can benefit from them. So first we have Natalia Cardona from Better Factory.
Hi, Maria. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for having us here today. We're live also from Barcelona. My name is Natalia Cardona, and I'll be presenting the Better Factory initiative. Better Factory is funded under the European Commission Horizon 2020 program, and our aim is to invite European manufacturing companies, designers or artists, and tech suppliers to engage in a set of one-year collaborative experiments in order to redesign manufacturers' product or services portfolio. Manufacturing companies and mid-caps in Europe will be able to enter new markets with customizable products or services. Artists and designers will create new business models for themselves and will be able to reach new prospective clients. Tech suppliers will be able to reach out new potential customers and, furthermore, test their technologies in real-life situations with a low financial risk. What do we aim for? Well, the collaboration between all these stakeholders will provide us with some results at a technical level. We will focus on minimizing the impact on production costs and create more value for the companies by reducing waste, energy, and other production resources, optimizing logistics intra-factory, using robots to support workers, and provide tools to production pre-planning and simulation. We are prioritizing 6 sectors in the manufacturing industry: plastic and rubber, furniture and wood, food and agriculture, construction, metal and machinery, and textile and leather. What do we offer to the people presenting themselves to our open call? Well, you can receive up to 200,000 euros in equity-free funding. You have the chance to explore new markets using digital technologies. You could test and develop new lean agile production technologies with the access to the robotics and automation marketplace RAM. You will have access to trainings to reskill your staff and get art, business, and technical support and mentoring. How will we do it? Well, we have what we know of as knowledge transfer experiments on the frame of a knowledge transfer program. How are we going to develop these? Well, we have the 3 main stakeholders: the manufacturing company, the artist or designer, and the tech supplier form a consortium, and they will be mentored and guided and supported by technical mentors, art mentors, and business mentors in processes of technology transfer and also in a process of art transfer. We have now opened our first wave of open calls. It's available until July 15 to make the submission of your idea. So if you want to know more, you can visit betterfactory.eu. On the tab of open calls, you'll find all the information you need. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalia. So yes, it's an opportunity to explore, especially because they are also including this artist perspective, which is a real twist in this manufacturing concept. So let's move to now Change to Twin, represented by Tordoken and
Jordi, you are the coordinator of the Change to Twin project. What is the goal of this project?
The goal of Change to Twin is to accelerate the uptake and deployment of digital twins in manufacturing SMEs. We do this by helping the SMEs to understand their digital maturity and suggest pathways for how they can go about getting digital twins. To facilitate this, we provide funding through open calls for experiments. Last but not least, we want to help making sustainable network and ecosystem for digital twin and having the help of digital innovation hubs in this process.
And how is the project progressing?
Yeah, the progress of the project is good. The pilot experiments are halfway through. We have also just closed the first open call for assessment vouchers, and the selected SMEs will soon start their work. Then we will launch on June 30 the call for deployment vouchers or deployment experiments for digital twins. We are also progressing well with the process of identifying digital twin barriers for SMEs and finding and suggesting ways to overcome them, and also for mapping enabling technologies for digital twins.
And who can apply in the upcoming call? And what is the scope of the deployment voucher?
Those that can apply are manufacturing SMEs and mid-caps. No consortia. We look for experiments for designing and deploying digital twins that address either a process, an asset, or a product. And we expect that the 7-step method that we have developed in Change to Twin is used in these experiments.
So many thanks for the interview. And if you want to know a little bit more about our project and about the open calls, please visit our website www.changetotwin.eu, or follow us on our LinkedIn channel. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Marcela, our correspondent from Austria, that was stealing from me the role of presenter. Thank you, Marcela. So now we move from Norway with Thor to Spain with David Vidal from the DH World.
DigitBrain is focused on extending the digital twin concept with memorizing capacity to cover the whole product lifetime, accelerating the adaptation of manufacturing processes and products to changing conditions, facilitating flexible manufacturing for SMEs to strengthen their competitiveness, and enabling personalized manufacturing in an affordable way.
DigitBrain will conduct 3 waves of experiments, 2 of them through funded open calls, to validate the results of the project. These results will be integrated in the Engora marketplace, and we are developing the manufacturing as a service business model as a way to democratize technology access for manufacturing SMEs.
We leveraged Cascade funding to co-finance with up to 100,000 euros assigned via the mentioned open call innovative experiments led by end-user SMEs and mid-caps belonging to the manufacturing sector. But there's much more than this, as our DIHs will provide technical and business support along experiments implementation, thus unlocking the full potential of DigitBrain solution and bringing your business model one step closer to the manufacturing as a service. If you belong to any eligible applicants category, you can apply to our second open call to be launched on March 2022. Stay tuned on our channels for that. But meanwhile, you can make best use of the time in between by checking out the open call documents toolkit and getting in touch with the DIHs covering your region for gaining support and advice.
Yeah, we are looking for experiments that want to leverage the digital twin technology for manufacturing machines and processes. We call that industrial products. To maximize the potential reuse of digital twins, we treat them as compositions of data, model, and algorithm assets. The experiment shall follow this conceptual separation to have the possibility to commercialize their assets via our digital Agora.
Beside the Digital Agora marketplace, we have also a human intelligence matchmaking tool made up by the DIHs that share information and draw upon their innovation ecosystem to find the right digital twin technical partner to address the problem statements of manufacturing end users. In this way, we facilitate cross-border consortia while nurturing new commercial relationships.
So you may have noticed this was not David Vidal, was the team of DigitBrain. So thank you all for presenting. So let's move to the next project.
Four industrial revolutions shaped our world to today and led to great progress, with every time having its own tools to foster progress and innovation. From mechanization, which provided tools and machines to ease human labor, to mass production, which made everyday products much more affordable for everyone. From automation, which helped rationalize production and made human labor to a large part unnecessary, to the vision of a smart factory in which production facilities and logistic systems are largely self-organizing without human intervention. Innovation became the most crucial competitive factor in a globalized economy today, which makes it sometimes hard for smaller players to keep pace. But what if you found everything you need in one place? Mgora is the tool that makes innovation available for everyone today. The Mgora digital marketplace will ease the use of new technologies by providing software services which are available on demand without the need of high upfront investments. This will help companies to optimize their business processes and accelerate innovation by using simulation, artificial intelligence methods, or machine learning. Mgora will allow for full scalability by providing access to various cloud and high-performance computing resources in Europe. For this reason, Mgora guarantees European privacy and security standards and offers flexible payment models which put you in full control over your spendings and usage. This will allow for easy onboarding to new technologies without high risks and boost innovation in your company. Become a part of the Mgora community, explore new business opportunities when collaborating with like-minded experts, and receive support and training from Mgora specialists when needed. Mgora is your space of opportunities, bringing together software vendors and resellers, software-using manufacturers, and business consultants. Mgora builds on the results of a powerful European research and innovation project called Cloudifactoring, which helped to implement 21 use cases, each addressing the needs of a producing company who could achieve significant optimizations using the resulting software solutions. Thanks to Cloudifactoring, the metal forming company Dan, for example, could reduce simulation times for their flow forming process from several weeks to a couple of days and avoid material waste and a time-consuming trial and error method. Mgora is supported by well-known international tech companies and research organizations. Do you want to know more about Mgora? Visit us at www.mgora.eu.
So as you may notice, this project and DigitBrain are connected, as Mgora is the result of one of the projects that was supported previously in I4MS. So now they are working together in order to put more resources available for the SMEs. So let's move to the next speaker.
For SME project, and I'm so pleased today to introduce to you our platform. So I will start from the company perspective. Companies nowadays, they are exposed to so many new enabling technologies like artificial intelligence, industrial Internet of Things, and collaborative robotics. And with large corporations have a lot of resources to invest in them. But what about the SMEs that constitute 99% of our industrial ecosystem and then don't have these kind of resources? Without these bulky investment budgets or even computer scientists and AI technologies to utilize, means that they're left behind in this journey for good. In Key for SME, we believe that is not. And that is why we're developing the Key for SME platform, which will be an aggregation point for many AI solutions coming from trusted technology providers and validated by the platform. So what is the benefit you could get by joining us? So as an SME, you will be able to log to our platform, diagnose your need by answering a set of adaptive questions that will go through the main troubles that you experience every day, and based on that you will get a first proposal for a customized AI kit. And this will grow over time because Kit for SME is expected to be an evolving platform. We're starting with a few solutions, but thanks to the open calls that we're launching the 1st of July this year, we expect by mid-2022 to have at least 25 solutions inside our technological platform. And obviously there will be funds for that. We are going to provide a EU grant of 100,000 keys for technology providers to integrate, test and validate their technologies inside the platform. Our solution, I think, is very important also for digital innovation hubs. Kit for SME can become a major channel for the SME in your network, service that you can offer to them to end by, so let's say, broadening your portfolio. So if you are a digital innovation hub, get in touch with us and we can discuss how to get the platform to your target, okay? And if you wish to get more information about the benefit for SMEs, for the technology providers, for the DIH, you simply log into our website at kitforsme.eu and you will find there all the relevant information regarding the project, regarding the current technologies that partners have brought to the platform architecture and the open goals that we're just a few days about to launch. So on behalf of our project partners, I'd like to greet you all again, wish you a pleasant day, and thank you.
This was Andrea Bettoni from Subsea from Switzerland. So now we have David Vidal.
The DIH World Project wants to accelerate the uptake of advanced digital technologies by European manufacturing SMEs working in all sectors of activity, by supporting them in building sustainable competitive advantages and reaching global markets. The project wants to accelerate the matureness of DIHs and the development of their collaboration capabilities, so that DIHs can leverage on the European DIH networks and their resources and facilities for the benefits of their local stakeholders and SMEs. The objectives of the DIH World Project are to support the uptake of advanced technologies by European SMEs and mid-caps, focused on the sectors where the digital technologies are underexploited, to enlarge and accelerate the establishment of DIHs, and to reinforce the existing DIH networks and I4MS ecosystem. DIH World comes with a consortium that brings together knowledge, technical abilities, and the dissemination capabilities required for this to achieve these objectives. It is coordinated by CARSA and is supported by PricewaterhouseCoopers Italy, Improve Academy, Novale Association, Urada, and CBT. Additionally, we count with 27 DIHs from 26 European countries, as well as 8 SMEs from 6 European countries that are currently developing 8 pilot experiments. The aim of the project is to grow this community and include more than 70 DIHs and 50 SMEs by the end of the project. Some of the key concepts and activities that we are developing under the DIH World Project are the DIH World Network, which will integrate, as mentioned before, at least 70 DIHs across Europe. The DIH World Academy, which is providing a wide range of training and mentoring support services to DIHs. The Twinning Scheme, which groups DIHs for service improvement. And the Technology Needs Assessment that DIHs will conduct on SMEs. Additionally, the DIH World Experiments, where 8 initial DIH pilot experiments have been executed, will finally come with 45 additional experiments to be selected via the open calls. A total of 53 experiments will be carried out throughout the life of the project. And in order to achieve this, 2 open calls will be launched. The first open call was launched in April this year, and the objective is to select at least 35 experiments to be integrated into the project. The second open call will be launched in April in 2022 and will add another 10 additional experiments to the project. DIH World is looking for innovative experiments across Europe that integrate digital technologies in the processes, the products, or the services of manufacturing SMEs. These innovative experiments will be implemented by a consortium composed of 1 SME and 1 DIH. The funding of up to 95,000 euros is available to finance these innovative experiments, which can be focused on any manufacturing sector and may include any range of digital technologies. manufacturing SMEs and DIH is interested in participating in our first open call can visit our website, where they will find all the relevant information and documentation regarding the open call. Finally, for more information, opportunities and news regarding DIH World, you can visit our website, dihworld.eu.
So thank you all for being with us today. Either if you are an SME looking for funding opportunities, or you haven't heard about I4MS in your region and you would like to change this trend, I really encourage you to contact us. We are a team of 10 persons that will be at your disposal in order also to put you in contact with the different projects and give you all the information you may need for I4MS. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.